This is going to be fun. How do you homeschool without curriculum? I'm so excited about this. This is a 3 or 4 part series, and we're going to be talking about how to homeschool without curriculum. By the end of this video, you'll have resources to help you lay your foundation so that you can homeschool without curriculum with confidence. Now, curriculum's not bad. I want to start by saying that. In our 25 years of homeschooling, we've done it all. We've done the public school in a box where they send you everything except a printer. We have borrowed curriculum from friends. We've shared curriculum where we all went in on a core. We did Sunlight one year. There were 4 or 5 of us, and we each bought a core, and then we passed it around for a few years. I've also homeschooled directly from the library, homeschooled through charter schools, and written my own curriculum. So there's something good from each one of those pieces, but you don't need to be strapped to a boxed curriculum, and you certainly don't need to spend a fortune homeschooling your kids. So by the end of this video, like I said, you'll have some resources to lay that foundation. This is not the easier side of homeschooling. This is kind of advanced homeschooling. And I don't mean that arrogantly. I mean that it takes more effort to homeschool without curriculum because it's way easier to just open a box and let somebody tell you what to do. But that's not why we homeschool, right? We really want to tailor our teaching for the needs of our family and the needs of our kids. So let's get started. In order to homeschool without curriculum, you really have to have your master homeschool goals. And in my years of talking to homeschoolers, whenever I ask, what are your master homeschool goals? I still have not bumped into somebody that knows them right off the top of their head. Instead, they'll say things like, well, my child's in 4th grade, and I think that my goal is just to get through the curriculum. Back up. Your master homeschool goals need to answer the question, by the time my children graduate high school, they will, and there's 4 to 6 things that they need to do by the time they graduate high school. Now, I cannot tell you what those are for your kids. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, and I had just received the curriculum for that school year. And in my mind's eye, I want to say my oldest was maybe in 7th or 8th grade, which would then I would have had a 7th or 8th grader, maybe a 1st grader, and a bunch of toddlers and babies and stuff. And I remember looking at the curriculum, and at the time, there were only going to be 2 separate curriculums, right? 2 separate maths, 2 separate language arts, 2 separate histories, 2 separate sciences. And I imploded. And my husband said, Bekki, what's wrong? And I said, I can't do it. I can't teach all this. How the heck am I going to teach and cook and take care of the babies? He goes, back up. I love my husband. He has the ability to cut through my chaos and to touch the main point. He's like, Bekki, what are our goals? By the time our kids graduate high school, what do we want them to learn? Because if you don't know that, then no curriculum is going to help you. So we got coffee, and I took the next couple days and just really thought through, by the time my kids graduate high school, what do I want them to do? What should they learn? And we condensed our homeschool goals down into these things that I've repeated over and over again. So you can try on some of our master homeschool goals, but you don't have to choose these for yourself. But you need to have a vision. Okay, I'm an archer, like a bow and arrow shooting archer. Our family is a family of archers. And can you imagine how crazy it would be for us to take our bows and our arrows and just to walk outside and just shoot arrows everywhere? Not only is it dangerous, but how can you judge whether or not you're getting to the target or what it is you're shooting? And I'm not a hunter, I'm a target shooter. So anyway, With homeschooling, if you don't have a goal, then you don't have something to move toward. So you need to have master homeschool goals in order for you to find peace in the chaos that will inevitably come. So try on our homeschool goals for size, or to let them kind of wet your whistle. Do these at least point you in the right direction? So our very first homeschool master goal is that we share our faith with our children and wrap it into pretty much everything that we do. Okay. We don't just do church on Sunday. The Lord is a part of everything that we do. So that's our master homeschool goal. Our next master goal is that our kids know their basic math, the kind of math that will help them thrive in society. So that's the basic stuff: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, decimals, percentages, measurements, that kind of stuff. It's basic algebra, basic algebra, foundation in math. Our next goal is that our kids are marinated in literature. I remember talking to a teacher one time, and she was trying to convince me. She was like a governing teacher at the time, because again, we've done it all. And she was trying to get me to have my child write something about what they were reading, and I was like, because our goal is that they're marinated in literature and that they fall in love with writing. And every one of our children loved reading before they started to pick apart literature. Oh, let's capture their heart before we have them analyze something, right? So, sharing our faith, mastering the foundations in mathematics, marinating them in excellent literature, and falling in love with story. And then the last master homeschool goal is that we teach our children to be excellent communicators, both in written form and orally. And don't panic, because it's by the time they graduate high school. I have a kid that didn't read till he was 10. I have a kid that didn't walk until he was almost 2, one that didn't potty train until he was 4. One kid didn't talk until he was 4. They all bombed every standardized test that they ever took until they got to high school, and then passed everybody. But that those master homeschool goals were the filter through which we decided whether or not something was an academic activity. So if you know that one of your master homeschool goals is that your kids understand percentages, then when you're looking at math activities and it has some things about percentages, you can say, yep, that fits our vision. That fits where it is that we're helping our kids go. But if you see that the math concept in the book is confusing or doesn't line up with your master homeschool goals, and I can't think of something off the top of my head mathematically, but if it doesn't line up with your master homeschool goals, then you can set it aside. And you can walk ahead with confidence, knowing that there is not one page in a math book, not one chapter in a math book that's going to kill your child's education. Isn't that helpful? Isn't that wonderful? So, master homeschool goals. Do you have them? If you do, comment below and shout out what your 4 to 6 master homeschool goals. If you're like every other homeschooler that I've ever asked this question to, you might be like this: master homeschool goals. I never thought about that before, because a lot of us just turn the page, homeschool. Well, we were on page 17 yesterday, so today we're on page 18. Well, does page 18 have anything to do with any of the goals that you want your children to learn? If not, you have so much freedom. It's amazing. So, in order to homeschool without curriculum, you have to have a goal of where it is that you want to be at the end of your journey, because curriculum in itself is a cultivated group of resources and materials to help teach concepts and things that somebody somewhere thinks are relevant for children of your kids' average age. But it's just a curated set of materials. The same way that I could go to the local bookstore and I can put together right now, I could go and I could put together a curriculum on any subject. right now. Picture books, science activities, history activities, art activities, cooking activities that are all wrapped around some thing, some concept, some idea. And it would be as thorough as a boxed curriculum set. And mama, you can do that too, but it's confusing at first. So you have to be able to step back and you have to have those master goals in place. And it's worth taking the time to do it. It may take you 2 days. It may take you a full year to chew on and really think about it. If your kids are really little, if you're brand new to homeschooling, or if you're so um, when you close your eyes and you think about school, all you think about is a public school, and you think about somebody standing at a board and teaching and then quizzing and testing, then it's going to take some deprogramming for you to understand that it's okay to step away from the mainstream. But there is a plan. There are things that you should teach your kids, but the bottom line is that they're going to be foundational things. They're the obvious things, right? And we'll get to that in a later video. So before we wind down, I have a couple resources for you in the descriptions. The first one is a homeschooling quick start. Let me share the page so you can see what it looks like. It is a little class. Let's see, not a class. Sorry, wrong word. My mom always said I should never try to walk and talk at the same time, or walk and chew gum at the same time. It's like, Bekki, lie down before you hurt yourself. Okay, so here is homeschooling quick start. Let me make it bigger so that you can see. It is a set of pre-recorded videos and things that will help you lay your heart and your foundation for homeschooling without curriculum, or using curriculum as a tool rather than the baseline for what you do. And it's everything from how to start in homeschooling. There's down here, establish your master homeschool goals. It's a video that I did that walks you through how to go through the process of making your homeschool goals. And it has all kinds of stuff, how to plan homeschool, different kinds of approaches in planning, what kinds of things you should be learning, etc. So that's a resource for you down in the descriptions. And then I want to remind you that if you are in the Homeschooling with Secret Sauce group, membership group, that this is included in Secret Sauce. So there is a post in the homeschool membership group that has your secret code so that you get it for free. It's only a couple bucks, but it's part of being in the Secret Sauce group. So in order to get started homeschooling without curriculum, your first goal is to get a big picture idea. Where is it that you're headed? Where is it that your kids are going? It's going to look different in your home than it does in mine. We raised 5 sons. We still have 2 in school, 1 still in high school, 1 still in college, 2 still in college. But anyway, 5 kids. These homeschool goals have been there almost the whole time, and it's what we filter everything we do through. All 5 of our kids were college-bound kids for different reasons. They all had different goals, but they all required that higher education. Everything from just a science-y kind of brain to a child that wants to be a doctor someday. So that makes college a part of the equation when we're looking at curriculum, but that may or may not be applicable to you. So goal number 1, get a big, broad look and establish your master homeschool goals. Now, in the next video, we're going to be talking about, well, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but what do you teach, Bekki? What do you teach in the foundation? If you don't buy a boxed kit, how do you know what to teach your kids? Stay tuned. That's going to be in the next video.